I'm Claire, and today I'm doing the 25 bookish facts about me tag. There are a lot of facts to get through, so let's get started. I don't read a lot of crime books at all, but I love crime TV shows. I used to read a lot more political and historical novels, but I stopped reading them for a few years because they were so depressing. And now, in today's current political climate, I really feel like I need to start reading those again. I can remember sitting in my bedroom as a child with a copy of Peter Rabbit in English and a French to English dictionary, translating word for word. I was such a cool kid. I didn't keep track of how much fan fiction I read last year, but I'm pretty sure that I read more words of fanfic in 2016 than original fiction. Call it an educated guess. I've just started tracking fanfiction reading for 2017, and yep, I read a lot of words of fanfiction every month. At the moment, I'm trying to get into the romance genre. Recommendations would be very welcome. I have a library card, but I only really use it for Overdrive, which is an electronic lending system, because I'm terrible at bringing actual books back to the library in time, and I do not want fees. As a teenager, I used to mark my place in books by dog-earing pages. I'm very sorry, I do not do that anymore. Don't throw things at me. I know how wrong I was. I'm a very contrary reader, or maybe just a very contrary person. The minute I get assigned a book to read, whether it be for school, an assignment, a book club, my TBR, even if I'm doing the assignment, the minute that I've decided this is a thing that I should read, I immediately want to read 3 different things. I never really read erotica novels, and that's because I read a lot of smutty fanfiction, and why would I go elsewhere looking for something that fanfiction already does so well? I've never read any of the original Sherlock Holmes stories by Arthur Conan Doyle, but I've read a tie-in novel for the TV show Elementary, which I love, and I thought that was a pretty good book. I listened to the US audiobooks of Harry Potter as read by Jim Dale first when an American friend of my family lent them to me when I was in about middle school. In some ways, I prefer the US edition to the UK edition as read by Stephen Fry because Jim Dale doesn't try to do voices as much. Some of the voices that Stephen Fry does, particularly the really high-pitched voice he does for Hermione, I find really irritating. Seriously, I listened to these audiobooks a lot. I would repeat lines aloud and use the audiobooks to improve my pronunciation of English, and I basically treated the entire Harry Potter phenomenon, the entire Harry Potter fandom, as an extended English language lesson for myself. In further Claire was such a cool kid news, when I was at university and I had free time, I used to play The Sims 3 whilst listening to the Harry Potter audiobooks again and again and again, and I would use the university expansion pack to make a frat house that had all the marauders in it, and I made Remus and Sirius fall in love. I am 100% a mood reader. I find it very, very difficult to keep reading a book if I'm not in the right mood for that book at the time that I'm reading it. I have a number of incomplete series on my shelves where I have the second and third books in a trilogy, for instance, on the shelves as paperbacks, but I don't have the first one because I first listened to it as an audiobook and I didn't want to re-buy it. So that's kind of a dilemma. Do I complete the series or do I remain cheap but with incomplete bookshelves? I didn't actually fully read most of the books that I was ever assigned for school because I thought I was so smart and I didn't need to. Notable exceptions include The Glass Menagerie by Tennessee Williams and Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, which were both assigned to me to read by my favorite English teacher that I had in high school, who was an absolute badass and quite strict as well, and I didn't want to disappoint her. I absolutely cannot deal with any story in which a dragon is the bad guy and has to be killed. I have a very heavily annotated copy of Richard III in French, which I bought at university when I was in a theatre group that put on a production of Richard III. I was Queen Margaret. I got to wear this like tattered and bloody dress and curse the line of York, and it was great. My mom has handed me a lot of books to read throughout the years, and a lot of them were kind of inappropriate for her to give me to read when she gave them to me to read. She handed me The Dragon Riders of Pern when I was 13 and The Clan of the Cave Bear the year after that. My dad and I have very different reading tastes. He reads mostly mysteries now, but apparently when he was younger he read some sci-fi as well. A few years ago he gave me a copy of City by Clifford Simak, which I quite enjoyed at the time. I'm an absolute sucker for a miniature hardback. They are just super cute. In 2016 I tried to shelve my books alphabetically and I hated it. I kept having to move most of the shelf around when I was trying to add new books, and it made everything super difficult. I could not keep up with it. I hate it when people use the idiom to judge a book by its cover, literally, and when they apologize for doing it. First of all, you cannot prevent your brain from making snap judgments about the cover of a book when you first see it. That is just what your brain does. And second of all, there is a person who works at a publishing house whose entire job it is to design that cover so that the snap judgment that you make will be something that is helpful to you and that conveys what the book really is about. And I find it kind of disrespectful that your entire reaction to the cover of the book is, oh, I must not judge the book by it. Before I moved to the UK, I had never read a superhero comic. But when I was growing up in France, I had a subscription to a French comic book magazine for years and years and years. It's just that French comic books, also known as bande dessinée, don't really tend to be about superheroes. I hardly ever reach for my Kindle to read on. Whenever I have an ebook to read, I tend to reach for my phone to read on because I'm so used to reading fanfic on my phone. But I'm trying to get out of that habit and to get into the habit of using my Kindle some more because it would be better for my eyes. The screen is better suited to reading on, and also it wouldn't drain my phone battery so much. So that's it. Those were 25 slightly random bookish facts about me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments below if you've done this tag yourself so I can go and check out your answers, or, you know, just a few random bookish facts about you. If you'd like to see more from me, you can check the sidebar right here for more videos. And if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button for new videos from me every week. I've been Claire, thanks so much for watching, and see you soon.